Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're gonna be reacting to.
What's happening with KATSEYE? Ice Spice, Scooter Brown,
Ooh,
and
that
Kids
sounds
Choice Award.
scary. Yikes.
Hi guys, what's up with KATSEYE recently?
Hi.
First James Charles, now Scooter Braun. Who's next in KATSEYE's
Oh,
problematic circus tour? Kris Jenner in the front row of their comeback showcase? Because the way this group keeps cozying up to controversy is exhausting. Let's start with Disneyland. On June 1st, Scooter Braun, the CEO of Hybe America and full-time Red Flag with a LinkedIn profile, posted photos at the happiest place on earth, posing all smiles with KATSEYE and his family. Sounds innocent, right? Until you remember this man is a loud and proud Zionist who literally reposted a list of Zionist musicians earlier this year like it was a badge of honor, not even denying it. He owned it, and now here he is, parading a rookie girl group with a supposedly woke image through Disneyland like they're his little political mascots. Naturally, fans did not take that lightly. KATSEYE had previously followed certain awareness pages, the kind that clearly hinted at where they stood. I can't say the name out right here, but let's just say it was very obvious what cause they were quietly aligning with. So when those same members show up smiling next to one of Zionism's biggest industry cheerleaders, people felt played, and rightfully so. You can't flirt with activism on social media and then hug up to the face of the very ideology your fans are protesting.
the
Pick a
girls will
side.
have to deal with it. I don't know what to tell you.
As we talked about it in the video when we first found out, he's their boss. This is a job. They have to do it. They don't have a choice. I don't know why you don't have to support them if you don't agree with it, but you can't drag them for it because anybody put in that position would do the same thing.
They free to drag.
No, that's what I said. You can drag if you want. I think that's fair. They're not beyond criticism, but I just believe that anybody, if you have to in your job, you have to deal with designs. Well, which work you won't do it.
You know, the thing is that if there were to be a problem to come up, the people are not gonna be as likely to help them because they're gonna be like, "We told you, like,
No, okay,
this
that's
is not the
fine.
person that you should have aligned yourself
Cool.
with."
That's all fair. I agree. It's just
And that's the wrong answer. You should still help them. So blink twice.
okay. I mean, should you help? Yeah, I mean,
You should still help
they don't
them.
fucking have a choice.
Yeah,
It's their boss.
they wanted the opportunity to be
Yeah,
successful, to
it's like,
sing, dance, and do what they do.
yeah, you do
And
what
you
you
know,
gotta
the
do.
opportunity was in front of them. I don't think at the beginning of it you know where the end of it's gonna lead you, because
Yeah,
you don't necessarily know who's the boss. You know who's in front of you saying, "Oh, you have this opportunity. You want to
yeah,
do it? Yes or no?"
yeah.
You don't get to serve human rights realness on Monday and pose with Scooter the Settler on Sunday. Now, of course, some fans tried to run defense like it was their job, but he's their CEO. It might have been mandatory. And sure, maybe the girls couldn't exactly say no, but let's not act like they're being held hostage. This isn't a prison sentence, it's a Disney day. And while we can acknowledge power dynamics in K-pop, yes, even in global groups like KATSEYE, it's also clear that these girls have been choosing to orbit problematic people lately. Don't forget, this Scooter Braun Disneyland date isn't their first mess. They've been voluntarily hanging out with shady influencers and
But
tone-deaf
you know
internet
what's
trash for
wild is that the problematic people are the popular people at the same time.
Because honestly, anybody who's popular has some sort of problem. Like, okay, everybody has a problem. It's just when you're popular, your problems are visible.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay,
months
Because
now.
they've been around James Charles, Trisha Paytas, Scooter Brown, Ice Spice.
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
At some point, that they were forced defense starts to crumble. Then bam, as if that wasn't enough, here comes round two. Daniela's mother of all people stirring the pot. Someone noticed she followed Donald Trump's personal Instagram account, not even the sanitized presidential archive
She's late on these news. We already talked about all this.
page, but his personal one. The man whose resume includes calling COVID the Kung Flu, building border walls, hating immigrants, trashing gender equality and being besties with fascism. It didn't take long for Twitter to light up with accusations, calling Daniela a Trumpy, questioning her beliefs and digging through every trace of her digital past like forensic analysts on caffeine. The backlash got so loud that Daniela's mom had to step in and issue a weirdly specific clarification, saying she followed Trump after seeing a touching post about the
Yeah, as we said in the previous one, you have to separate the mother from the daughter. They're not the same person. Whatever the mother does has nothing to do with the daughter. The daughter cannot tell her mother, don't do this, don't follow Trump, don't support. It doesn't work like that.
That's interesting. That people kind of like put weight on your family associations, your friends association, on who you are per se.
I think it's the haters. The haters that want that to see that group fail. They're like, oh, look at this. Because, come on, like you are not judged by your parents' decisions.
True. But I can understand how they say, okay, birds of a feather flock together. So
It's your mother.
I know, but they're saying in their perspective, okay, if the mom feels this way, what does Danny feel about this? Thing is, we don't know. And I
I
feel like
mean,
it's hard to, you shouldn't really penalize what you don't know.
but kids and parents disagree on politics all the time.
True, but the thing is that because that element, that door has been open, curiosity, people are curious now, and now they want to figure out, okay, where does she align, you know? But before that was not even a thought.
I think as long as she's not making any, public statements of support for anybody, then that's fine. If she comes out to support Trump, well, guess what? There's nothing wrong with that either. But if you guys just
But the
don't
people
like
will
that,
respond.
you can unfollow her. But there's nothing wrong with supporting anybody.
Pope and that it had nothing to do with politics. Ma'am, respectfully, that's not how following people works. You don't get to hit that blue button on Donald Trump's account and pretend it's about holy vibes. And even if it really
I
was
think
innocent,
there's nothing
she should have
wrong supporting someone personally, privately, but you take a lot of responsibilities when you want to do this publicly.
known what that follow would spark, considering her daughter is in a group trying to market to Gen Z liberals with a conscience. Now let's be fair for a second. No, political beliefs aren't inherited. You can't crucify idols for the dumb stuff their relatives do online. We've all got that one. Family member who posts Facebook rants about chemtrails and fake vaccines. Doesn't mean we co-sign it. I fully agree that it's invasive to assume Daniela shares her mom's beliefs. But at the same time, you can't act surprised that people are side-eyeing the situation. The optics are bad, very
Yeah.
bad. And when it comes
Yeah.
close to Scootergate, it feels less like bad luck and more like a pattern. Neither Hybe nor KATSEYE have addressed any of this, but fans dug up the receipts, old posts,
None of this needs addressing. There's absolutely no need to address any of this. Because if you start addressing this, then you succumb to anything addressing. This is nothing. Scooter Braun is the CEO. Mother is a mother. There's nothing need to be addressing. Now, if Daniela came out and posted wearing red #2, then maybe you can address that. But no, there's nothing that needs addressing.
follows, gestures showing solidarity with the cause, and they feel betrayed, because it wasn't just silence. It was contradiction. You set an expectation, you let people believe you stood for something, and now you're acting like that never happened. The sad truth is that KATSEYE, whether they intended to or not, built an image around cultural awareness and global consciousness. That's what drew a lot of fans in. They weren't just another K-pop girl group. They were a global girl group, supposedly more connected, more aware, more progressive. But the second real scrutiny hit, the illusion cracked. The politics became inconvenient, the support became conditional, and the silence
of this
spoke.
sounds like expectations people have of them, as opposed to what they are in reality. And what they are in reality is still growing as a group. It's still very early, very premature to make these kind of harsh judgments.
Louder than any Disneyland selfie ever could. So yeah, this isn't about one photo or one Instagram follow. It's about trust and how quickly it can vanish when artists stop practicing what they subtly preach. As for Hybe, I can't complain enough about them handing Scooter Braun the keys to the entire American division and practically saying, here, colonize our global image. This man's controversies aren't hidden. They didn't discover his beliefs ties last week. He's been loud and proud about it for years, flaunting his connections and cozying up to every politician and movement. Fans have begged the industry to steer clear of. Hybe knew exactly who they were empowering, and they did it anyway.
No, for some reason, people feel like when business hires somebody, they look at like that their political beliefs play a role. Like, it doesn't. You hire a person because of their achievements within the field. If I hire a CEO for a music industry company, that means that CEO has a lot of connections. Like, I really couldn't give a fuck about his beliefs, whether he supports Trump, Kamala, Nelson Mandela, whoever the fuck he supports. Who gives a fuck? He needs to do a
but
job.
you do care when it starts affecting the brand. When the brands are taking a hit, that
But the
person
brands
got
are
to
not
go.
taking a hit.
No, I know, but it will. If it starts affecting the brand, they're gonna be quick to
No,
drop them.
if it is, but this it's not gonna start affect because these are like internet warriors. They're typing their little shit, but it has no meaning on money.
Why? Because money talks louder than morals. Because Western expansion is more important to them than ethical alignment. The second they handed Scooter a CEO title, they told fans loud and clear, your concerns don't matter, your activism is disposable. They're not just complicit, they're the source. Every controversy that comes from this man's presence was bought, signed, and sealed by Bang Si-hyuk himself. And if you thought we're done, no, KATSEYE are dropping a gnarly remix featuring Miss Poop. Ice Spice. At this point, it feels like Hybe is pulling names out of a clearance bin and calling
We react to that, guys. Check it out.
it strategy. Who greenlit this? Who looked at Gnarly and said, you know what this needs? A feature from the most aggressively mid artist who peaked during the TikTok pandemic era. Let's be honest, Ice Spice probably heard the line I'm the and thought it was her autobiography. Her entire discography sounds like she's
Yes, that's what happened.
rapping while scrolling through Instagram captions. If she's the princess of rap, then the kingdom has fallen and the peasants have Wi-Fi. Sonically, Gnarly already walks the line between catchy and chaos. So adding Ice Spice just pushes it straight into parody. And no, this isn't going to suddenly catapult KATSEYE into global superstardom. These post-release remixes Hybe keeps pushing are glorified afterthoughts. Nobody's checking for them. This one might trend for 12 hours because of name recognition and then vanish back into the algorithm void with the rest of their collabs. Especially since Ice Spice is not the hot commodity she once was. Sis fell off fast. Her streams are declining.
Yep,
Her name doesn't hold the same weight in public. Sentiment has tanked. No amount of synthetic collab energy is going to reverse the fact that people are just over her. The wig to bars ratio isn't hitting anymore. And her loyalty? Even worse, the way she dropped friends, stylists, and supporters the second she got proximity to mainstream visibility is disgusting. She built a lane off relatability and black girl cosigns, only to toss them in the trash when the red carpets came calling. Unforgivable. But let's widen the lens here. Hybe has been chronically allergic to good collab decisions lately. This is the same company that just got dragged by Mexican fans for teaming up with a local band known for racism right before launching a Latin America audition show. Who's running A&R? A dartboard? The receipts are endless. Yunjin with Max, who said some vile crap about Asians and somehow still got an invite. Jungkook with Lotto, who not only has a history of racist comments toward Asians, but also no musical chemistry with him whatsoever. Jungkook again, this time.
Listen, hate what you want. That song became one of the biggest hits. So it worked out.
Teaming up with Justin Timberlake.
That's just a, coincidence.
Yeah, I don't think it became one of the biggest hits because of Lotto's name, because Lotto don't have a name like that.
Lotto didn't carry that much weight either.
Yeah, Lotto don't have a name, so I mean, it's luck, I guess, but it worked out, so.
Right when hashtag Free Britney energy was at its loudest. What a read the room fail, in Hypin' with Bella Poarch. Yeah, the one with the rising sun tattoo like we wouldn't notice. It's like Hybe
But that kind of goes again back to what I said like 3 minutes ago. It's nobody cares about your political associations or like your beliefs, whatever, when you do business. You do business if you like someone's sound or they in your budget, they target like for example Jungkook and Lotto. I think not why it worked out, but why it helped. Lotto was very different market than Jungkook. And no, people that listen to Lotto, none of them listen to Jungkook. But, they exposed a little bit to them. And, Jungkook's fan base, the army, of course, pushed the song.
I don't know how that song moved because of Lotto.
No, but they still exposed it a little bit to the hip-hop community. And both of them managed to push. And once it hits a certain threshold, an algorithm starts pushing you. And, it happened. So it's not fair to say that Lotto didn't add nothing to the song. She added a different fan base, or she exposed that song to a different amount of people that helped it just push just a little bit to get over that hump, where the song stall and to push it over the top.
Collaborators based on how problematic and irrelevant they've recently become. They're not building bridges. They're crawling through flaming dumpsters of expired clout hoping to strike gold. Meanwhile, when they do get someone who's still relevant or at least not universally hated, the collab is dry, unnecessary, or completely mismatched. This Ice Spice remix? 2 years ago, it might have been cute, back when her novelty hadn't worn off and people were still memeing her into the charts. But now?
No, 2 years ago it would have been big for KATSEYE. Now it's big for Ice Spice, so,
She's fallen off. The world's moved on and this feels like a desperate attempt to revive a hype train that already derailed. And speaking of KATSEYE, they're set to perform at the 2025 Kids Choice Awards, which is easily their biggest televised gig to date. But of course the internet is already foaming at the mouth over whether Gnarly is too explicit for a family-friendly
They probably won't do Gnarly, they do Debut and Touch. Those are good songs. Yeah, Gnarly is not really, I don't know if you want to do Gnarly at
I don't know what's the standard. They have a clean version of the song.
They do, but
a lot of people like the clean version actually too.
Show, saying even the clean version is too much because of the suggestive dancing, mainly the twerking, but personally, the outrage feels performative, especially when a literal 17-year-old Yoonchae was out here twerking in tiny shorts on Korean music shows just last month and no one blinked. Where was the pearl clutching then? Y'all stayed quiet while a minor was bending over for broadcast television, but suddenly y'all care about what kids are seeing? Now it's too much? Spare me, let's not act brand new. Nickelodeon has never-
But that's a big deal. Kids Choice Awards, I mean, I say it's a big deal because it seems like a big deal. I don't know what it is. I'm not a kid.
They're gonna get slimed.
But slime, what does that mean?
That's it's a green goop they put on you.
Oh, okay. But it seems like a big deal here in the States on the TV. It seems like a big deal.
Been squeaky clean. This is the same network that gave us years of foot jokes, hidden innuendos, and enough eyebrow-raising humor in their cartoons to make a nun side eye. Y'all really forgot the Dan Schneider era that had underage girls in tight clothes doing weird tour-related bits every other episode? You think Gnarly is too much? But you let your kids grow up watching Ariana Grande sucking on fingers and pretending to pour water on herself upside down on Victorious? Or how about iCarly, where jokes about feet, bras, and random dancing had way more layered meanings than we wanted to admit at the time? Kids' TV has never really been for kids. It's been hiding behind slapstick and slime while pushing suggestive content wrapped in bright colors and quirky humor. The real concern isn't KATSEYE shaking it in moderation. It's the selective outrage people manufacture. So please don't suddenly pretend you're an advocate for childhood innocence while YouTube Kids is out here pushing algorithmic trash and toddlers are recreating Megan Thee Stallion choreo on TikTok. Plus, if Gnarly's clean version got approved on South Korean music shows, where censorship is miles stricter than American programming, then Nickelodeon will survive. Will there be some light online chatter? Maybe a few think pieces and pearl-clutching Facebook moms whining for a week. But a real scandal? Don't think so. Still doesn't excuse Yoonchae being thrown on stage like that though. If we're gonna talk age-appropriate, maybe start there. Nickelodeon literally aired Ariana Grande sucking her toe. Let's not rewrite history. And that's all for today. Let me know your thought in the comments down below.
Okay.
Guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord. And as always, share as much kindness as possible.